When you look around, you will find that most arranged marriages in your family are between a slightly older bridegroom and a younger bride. In some cases, the groom is much older than the bride, but it's never the other way around. Even in love marriages, the groom is usually older. But every now and then, you will also see unconventional relationships where the bride is older than the groom. Why do we consider these relationships unconventional? In this episode of Jodi Logic Explains, we explore what you should know about age difference in marriage and also find out what is the ideal age difference in marriage. Let's get started. Before we begin, remember to like and subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to get instant notifications when we upload a new video. Marriages where there is a significant age gap between the bride and the groom is called a May-December relationship or a May-December romance. But why May and December? This phrase is actually connected to the seasons. May is associated with sunshine, harvest and greenery, whereas December is associated with winter where everything is cold and the land is barren. Hence the May-December analogy. Anyways, let's get back on track. We analyzed random matrimonial profiles on matchmaking sites as well as hundreds of biodata created on Jodi Logic, and here is what we learned about people's expectations on age difference in marriage. Men almost always prefer women who are younger or at least their age in arranged marriages. There are few who don't mind marrying women who may be 1 or 2 years older. Women prefer men who are no more than 1 or 2 years younger than them and are okay with marrying a man up to 10 years older in most cases. At least that's what they indicate in their expectations. The older the women are, the more they are open to marrying a much older man in arranged marriages. Research data compiled by evolutionary psychologists show a similar trend in most countries around the world. Across cultures, men want partners who are about 3 years younger. As men age, they typically seek partners who are increasingly younger than themselves. Marriage records across countries, and that includes the US, shows a clear trend in which husbands are typically older than their wives. In cultures where there is a bride price paid by men, such as Uganda, Kenya, and Thailand, men spend more money to marry younger brides. Women also seem to prefer older men for long-term relationships. Across most cultures, women report wanting partners who are about 3.5 years older. Even in dating sites, women seem to send interest or right swipe slightly older men. Marriage records across countries show that women are marrying men who are older by about 3 years. So one thing really stands out, women and men seem to agree on having a marriage between a younger woman and a slightly older man. We went about searching for answers, and here is what we could find. One of the reasons psychologists often cite is that most men and women are attracted to people who seem to be fit to bear children or father children. So why women seem to prefer to marry older men? One reason could be historically, men in their mid-30s had a combination of strength and experience in finding food either through hunting or through agriculture. This allowed for a greater probability of the man being able to support his children till they become adults. Applying the same logic in the current context, older men have more financial stability and resources to support a family. That's also one of the reasons why women prefer a professionally successful man in marriages. In summary, the traditional gender roles in our society, with the man acting as the breadwinner and the woman taking responsibility for bringing up children, is so well accepted that men invariably tend to be older than women at the time of marriage. That brings us back to the question, what is the ideal age difference for marriage? Here is a simple thumb rule that you can use to find out the minimum age difference at the time of marriage. It's called the half your age plus 7 rule. According to this rule, the bride's age for a man should be half his age plus 7. Example, if your age is 30, the bride's age should be 15 plus 7, that is 22. Seems somewhat reasonable if you look at how arranged marriages happen in India. Head over to the link in the description to read more about how this rule works and what makes it interesting for men and not all that great for women. Here is another thumb rule that determines the maximum age difference at the time of marriage. Subtract your age by 7 and double the result rule. For example, if you're 30 years old, your match cannot be older than 46 years. Or in other words, the age difference cannot be more than 16 years. So if you are a 30-year-old man, the minimum age of your bride should be 22 and the maximum age of your bride should be 46. Anything in this range should be more or less okay from a biological perspective. From the man's perspective, the minimum age thumb rule should work, but the maximum age thumb rule may not be acceptable. From a woman's perspective, the minimum age rule won't work in most societies as women tend to prefer older men, and the maximum age thumb rule will work by and large as it fits social norms better. But the real question we should be asking is, how is age difference in marriage related to the success of the marriage? After all, no matter what people may say about the couple with a big age difference, being happily married is probably every couple's primary goal. Here are some examples of celebrity couples and their age difference. Sachin Tendulkar is married to Anjali, who is 6 years older. Saira Banu was 22 when Dilip Kumar was 44 when they got married. Priyanka Chopra is 10 years older than her husband Nick Jonas. Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, is 25 years younger than his wife Brigitte Macron. In all the above examples, the marriages have been successful so far as we know. The answer to the question, what's the ideal age difference for marriage, has several parts. Age difference does not actually determine the success or the failure of the marriage if it is a deliberate choice by both the parties. Age differences can cause issues related to having children or bringing them up. When you marry someone with a big age difference, be ready to put up with questions throughout your life about why you married someone older. For example, people may wonder if you married just for money or fame or some other benefit in return for marriage. When you marry a man who is much older, you have the advantage of living with someone who is wise, experienced in handling challenges in life, probably financially secure. However, you'll also have to deal with someone who is used to a routine or way of life, doesn't relate to things you grew up with, and probably requires support due to health issues. When you marry a woman who is much older than you, the advantages are that she may be independent, knows the ways of life, can handle challenges easily. On the other hand, she may have difficulty in having children due to her age, not be ready to follow the norms of your family, and can find your behavior puzzling and immature. The best age for marriage depends on the individual getting married and how the marriage happens. If the person getting married is going through an arranged marriage, chances are they will only meet people who are of suitable age. The only exception being women from poor families who may get them married to a much older man for financial reasons. In love marriages or in dating, partner preference goes beyond age gap. It boils down to how you look, what traits or values you are looking for, and how much freedom you have in making a choice about who you want to live with. That's it for this episode of Jodi Logic Explains. Hope you will tune in for our next episode.